and start the stream. Okay. I put the GitHub link on Discord, so if you don't have the code, you can just clone it, npm install, and start working for the later half. Okay.
Wait, install what?
npm install. When you clone something, you have to npm install all the modules, right?
Yeah, I did that.
No, when you clone some project, right? Some project are from GitHub, you need to install the packages again. So let's go over what we have done in the morning. Basically, we connect our Express app to MongoDB using Mongoose. Then we define the model for user. In user model, we have email, name, password, and tokens. We also define a couple of methods here, only one method, sorry. One method to hash the password before we save the document into our database, right? We also define the controller, which will receive the data from the client front end, and then we save the data, the information to our database, like so, and then we return the document to the front end, right? So here we successfully create a new user. Now you can use try and catch. Try. Put everything inside into that try block. Then you have catch, error. You can do, I'm going to console log here. If I run into an error, I can see it on my terminal. Okay, and then return, respond dot status, maybe 500 for now. We will learn how to deal with the errors next week. So for now, let's just return 500 status code, meaning something wrong in the server. And then JSON.
Wait, can you move the talking part, the upper right? Can you move that?
Okay. Okay. Status fail, for example, or you can call it error. Then error, comma, error will be the error message. So we have a try and catch block. Catch block here will capture all the errors and then return only show the error.message, error message. We also console the error so that we can see what's wrong on the terminal. Okay. So here we are done with the register. Now let's move on with the login. So I'm gonna create a controller for login. You can do it right here, or you can use another controller. I prefer using another controller, and I'm gonna call it Auth controller. It's different from user controller. For example, Auth controller, you can log in, log out. You can how do you say, log in with another account. For example, GitHub account, Google account, Facebook account, those kind of stuff. Right. For user controller, you can create a user, you can change password, you can disable your account, you can update your profile. So those endpoints will go to the user controller. For login, log out, forget password, log in with Facebook, GitHub, or anything else, will go to Auth controller. I want to keep them separated like that. Function export. It's very similar. Export dot login with email. Okay. Function async request respond next. So this is the controller for the endpoint login. And for now, just respond with OK text. And then for the endpoint, let's create another router. I'm going to call it, how do we call it? Auth. Yes. I want to keep it separated from users because later on in the future, we have more routes that doesn't have anything to do with user. So I prefer having it in another file. You can copy everything here, paste it here, change a little bit.
The copy from what page?
Anywhere, index or user, doesn't matter. It's very similar. And I will change the controller name. What was it? Login with email from auth controller. Let's remove everything here. So this endpoint is going to be auth instead of user, okay? And we will have a couple of endpoints, for example, login. We also have logout. We also have forget password. We also have change password, something like that. So it's going to start with auth first. Let's create the first route. Router. Router dot route, root route, and then I'm gonna go with login dot post, and we're gonna post a function log in with email. Okay. So now we need to register this route to our app with our app. So open app.js. Create another route endpoint here. So we need to import it first, right? I'm gonna call it auth router, require routes and auth here. Right? Go up to about like 10, copy. It's very similar, just change the name. Oh, wait. Do I record or do I have mic on?
Yeah.
Right. Yes, I'm good. Thank you. How do I hide this stuff? Ooh. Nice. Okay. Right, it's done, right? So now we need to register that route. So let's do it like this. Auth. And then here we have auth router. Just that's it. Save. So now if I send a post request to login route auth/login, I should see OK. Go to Postman. So now I'm going to create another endpoint, another request. Add request. I'm going to call it login. It's a post request. So the endpoint will be URL, then auth, and then login, right? We still use the same environment, local 5000 Airbnb.
So you created a new request.
A new request inside the Airbnb collection, right?
And then you change it to get.
Post. Yeah, we want to send some data in the body. That's why we need post. Get, we cannot send data. And we also send a JSON. So here we want to send email and what was it? School.pn. I'm pretty sure it's right. 1, 2, 3, right?
Does it have to be a different email or different?
Yeah. You need, all right, for now, let's type anything you want. We will test everything. So I will wipe all of my data here. Just wipe it. You will do this step a couple of times. Just wipe. There's nothing research here. Right? So it's become empty. Oh, well, no, this is mine. It's gone. So the database is gone, right? When there is no thing inside the database, it's gone.
Collection needs to wipe it out.
Yeah, I mean you delete the whole collection.
Okay.
But inside my database, there's only one collection. When I delete that, the database becomes empty, so it's not here. Right. So now I'm gonna create an account here, and I will use the correct one, codeschool.vn. Okay. Right. Everything is fine. Create an account. Error? Yes, as expected. What's wrong with that? Open your terminal. I stopped the server, so I need to npm run dev. Again, done. I create another account, right? So now I want to log in with that account, codeschool.vn. 1, 2, 3. So if I hit send now, I should see okay. Right?
I don't see okay.
Something wrong then. That okay come from here. Right? Are you here yet?
No. No, it says cannot find module.route/off.
Why there's no module here? Cannot find module.route.
Yeah, .routes/off.
Oh, when you import, you need the path need to be correct. Let me see. The auth has to be inside routes folder.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and then I guess I have to import the.
Then when you import it.
Oh, right.
Okay. Right. I see no complaint. All right, onliner, stop me anytime. Okay, now if you want to read the body as we have done earlier, it's just like this. So I'm gonna call something like that, right? Let's try to read the data from those email and password equal to requested body. Okay. If there is no email or password,
Maybe try and capture.
Not yet. At the end, we will try to add it. So if there's no email or password, we will return response status 400, and then the body status fail, error, email and password are required. Okay. Cool. So now, if we have email and password, what do we have to do? What is the next step? Yes, we have to compare the password, the raw password, with the hash password from the database, right? Okay. We can do it inside the controller here, or we can create a function in the model to do just that. Yes, compare, yes. So let's create, basically we want to do this. We want to do that inside our model, usually. So here's the model. I'm gonna create a function to log in with email. Right. So you will do like this schema, user model, static, dot login with email. I see. So now this is a question that Bảo asked me in the morning. What is statics and what is method, right?
So what does it do?
Yeah, hang on. Right. Right. There's a difference between methods and statics. In short, they're very similar, but method, there's a big difference between this method, this, and static, this. So inside the function, you also have this, right? Here, inside methods, this will refer to the instance.
What is instance?
Yeah, later. Okay, so I will explain here. This inside statics, this will refer to the class, right? So when you create an instance is the object that inherit from the class.
Object inherited from class?
Yeah, you know it?
Yeah.
Right. So for example, here's the class. The whole schema here is a class, right? It's a model, a class. And when you create a new instance, it's going to be like this. Const object, right? Equal to new, and it's going to be the class. And you pass in some value, for example, name equal to Khoa, and age like 32. Then the instance is going to be then will become name Khoa and age 32, something like that. Also, there are a couple of methods that belong to the class. The object will inherit them all. For example, here you have another function. This is the other one that you pass in. There will be some other function. For example, this function, and yeah, right now only you have these two functions that you have it inside the object. But the object can call only this function. It cannot call this static. So the object is an instance of class. I'm going to call it person, right? Person class. So object is an instance of person class. An object will inherit this method to JSON method, but it doesn't inherit the login with email method. This method only be able to call on the person class. So for example, here you can call person dot login with email, for example. Okay. Right now it doesn't work. Just example. So this you can only call it like here. And inside the function, inside the method, and the statics here, the this is different. This here refer to the whole class, the person class, and this here only refer to the instance. So for example, now you have these two objects. This you have more. For this, you only have this here will refer to the class. Yes. So if you want to call this function, you will call it like this. User.login with email. Okay. Right. If you want to call this method, you can call it like this. Const user equal to new user, then name something like that, and then you call it user.toJSON. It's different. So now why you ask why is there that different? The difference that you can is this here is very important.
Wait, so which one is the one that you call with methods?
This one, the method you can be called on the instance.
User.toJSON.
Yeah, right now you would never call this one though. you in the future you will create more methods and you will call those methods upon the instance. For example, later, just a little bit later, we will create another method like here, generate token, for example, right? Later, just later. So right now we're going to use a static first. So this static will take email and password. It will compare the raw password here with the hash password, and then it will return the user object. So basically, find the user, the small user from database. Okay.
Question, please.
Yeah.
So the schema bring is that an home class or just an object of the class? Like we say.
It's a method from Bree here is a very special method. It's you can have multiple Bree here, and it's gonna add. The order is very important. If you have another Bree up here, it's gonna be the like it's kind of like a chain, right? If you define it first, it will come first. If you define it later, it will come after that. Like how do you call that? The small one, the ring inside the chain.
Yeah, the ring inside the chain.
Ring.
The ring. Okay.
So it depends on the order you define. So the order of the ring will be heavily dependent.
This in the ring is the home class or just an object? Maybe
it's not. It's a special function for Mongoose that will allow you to define as many middleware as you want, and they will put them all into the chain. It's different from the method here. Totally different. Totally different. You will not call this, and yeah, you will not call this, but you will call these. It's kind of like you define all of these and then you put them all into an array. That's a very good question. So you put all of the breeds into this array, something, and then sometimes you have pause, and here you save, right? And then you have some pause like that. It's a chain.
So free is the only thing can use the next.
When you say only, I don't it's not the only thing. For method and the static here, we don't want to, it's not a middleware, so there's no next. It's not a middleware. These are not middleware. So middleware. Just function. Function belong to the class or function belong to the instance. It's not middleware. Okay. So Bree is a middleware and it has next. You also have pause save, but pause save you don't have. Do you have next?
So what's the reason you use the middleware for the save?
So that we want to reuse this logic a lot. So we don't define it in the controller, and we define here so that it will like automatically call whenever we save, whenever we run. For example, whenever we run this user.save, this middleware will be called automatically. We don't have to manually call it. Okay. And this method we have to call it. We have to call it like here or like here, right? And this middleware will automatically call. Everything is in the schema. So here you can have more method. For example, update. Update still use it. Update is very special. It's not really update, but something update. But remember stay for now. All right, let's continue with this. So first step, we need to find the user from the database using email, right? We find the document with the email. Because the email is unique, I expect to only have at most one document that matches that condition email, or no. And then we will compare the raw password with the hash password. Okay. And if it's true, we return. If true, return user. If false, we can return no. Else, no, right? Something like this. All right, let's start it. And so, here in the user or in the auth controller, we can do something like this: const user equal to await user dot login with email, and then we pass in email and password, right? Just keep it here. I'm gonna return to this later. All right, let's keep working on the model. No, don't worry about it. I will go back to that. I just show you how to call it. I just show you how to call it here. So you understand this function will receive email and password as arguments, right? And here you have email and password here, right? And you will use the email to find the document. So it's going to be like this: const user. No, let's use let's account. It doesn't matter. I refer con user equal to await. How do you find a how do you find a user from a model? No, this is MongoDB. It's not JavaScript. User. Find one. Yeah, email. Are you sure it's work? Maybe not. It should not work because you haven't defined user. Where? So user, it will throw an error. User is undefined. Let's try it first. So it's not schema. You can use something like this. So now you can use this. This here will refer to the model, right? Yeah. There's always reason. Every step has a reason.
Wait, this refers to what?
Here. So we have this, and this will refer. This will be the same as the user class, right? Because we cannot call class here. We cannot call uppercase user here because we haven't defined it. We defined it down here. So we cannot call user.file1 right here. It will throw an error. User is undefined. And we have to use this. Next, we have to check if there's a user. If we have to do the otherwise, if there's no user, I'm gonna return no. Right? Just return no so that because you can check the user here. So just return no. And then if there is user, we're gonna compare the password. So how do you compare? I'm gonna say const match equal to bytecrypt. So if you want to understand what it does, right? This method is gonna compare the if you type it bytecrypt here. Wait. So here, this function, it will retrieve, it will the first argument is going to be your data, the raw password, and the second argument is going to be your hash password, right? And there's a callback, or you can use promise here, await. So I'm going to compare the raw password, and together with the hash user.password, we got user from here, right? So inside user, there's a field called password, and this is going to be your hash. This is the raw and hash. So this match is going to be a boolean. Match is a boolean. It's going to be true or false up there. So now, if match return user, else we return no.
Do you need the curly bracket?
If it's just one line, you don't have to. If you want, I can. You don't really need else there, but just in case. Right. You can refine this function a little bit, but I'm going to leave it here so it's easy to understand. So do I have byte here? Yes, I do. All right, let's try to log in first. So I have this function. I need to call this function in auth.controller, and here's how I call it. So this static method return a user object, right? If there's no user, I return a null value. If there's a user, I return a user object. So here I can check if not user, I will do return respond status 401 JSON error wrong email or password. Okay. Wait, someone asked something. So for pre-save function will run first and same. Yes. Man, you ask question that I can only answer yes and no. That's good. That means you actually think a lot before you ask. Okay. All right, here we go. If there's no user, we return an error, wrong email or password. We don't say it's specific like wrong email or wrong password. We say just general response like this, right? And then if we have a user, we can return a user. So I'm going to status. You don't really need a status if you want to return a default status. By default, it's going to be 200, right? So if you want to return a 200 status, you don't need to specify it. Just like this is okay. Status, okay, and then the data will be your user. Right, I'm going to save, and I'm going to test if everything is okay. Give me 1 second to test. Right. I'm going to test.
You need to migrate.
Right, error here. Sorry.
Can you migrate the password yet?
Have you migrated the password? Compare, you mean? Oh, if you check my database here, user object, user collection, I have a password like this, hash already. So now this function is going to compare the raw password and the hash password, right? So there's something wrong in my application. Let's check what's wrong. Oh, user is notifying. Where the hell did they call user? So here's how we debug. We have to trace all the stack. Like sometimes you trace from top to bottom. Sometimes you trace from bottom to top. So here you can trace from top to bottom because I see something very similar to me, familiar to me. Control/auth controller, right? So on line 10, go to this file on line 10, controller, auth controller, line 10. Oh, I call user without importing it. So I need to import first. Const user equal to require dot models and user. Okay. Save.
But that's user with a capital U. Does that mean that we have to change?
Hmm.
Yeah, uppercase or lowercase?
It's a class. It's a class. Normally, a class will start with capital letter, and instance will have lowercase letter. Okay, let's try again. Send. All right, successfully logged in. What if I gave a wrong password? Blah 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 blah. Okay, wrong email or password, right? Cool. We successfully logged in. If I use a wrong email but correct password, wrong email, file with an extra A, same error, right? Can I log in? Right, done. We successfully log in with email and password. Review, recap. First, we create a new endpoint. Not here. We create a new endpoint. You have to define user, right? Yes, correct. So create a new endpoint, a new route, a new file to be exact. And then in that file, we have a new endpoint login. It's going to be /auth and /login. And then we define a controller as well. So in this controller, we need to read the email and password from the body. If there's no email and password, we return something called email and password are required. Let's try it. What if I don't provide password? What happened? I don't provide password. So that error pop up, right? Okay, let's go back here. Okay. And then if there's email and password, we're gonna call this function, login with email. And this function just to check, to find the document with that email and then check the password. And so here is how I do it. Where is it? Here. There's a bunch of green text here, but I think it's here. First, we need to find the user. And then we return no if we cannot find user. All right. Oh, here you can actually just return user instead of return no, but that's okay because user is no. So we compare the password using bygrip.compare. The first argument will always be the raw password, raw string. The second element is the hash string. So this function is going to return true or false. If it's true, we return the user. False, we return no. So actually here, we can return user here if we want to make it short. Why don't we do the login in the auth controller? Why do we have to do it in user? Good question. It's okay if you want to do it inside the controller, but actually when we have to deal with the data, we prefer having those functions, those methods in our model. Like if you have a bunch of different logic inside our controller, it's gonna be like, it's very long. The controller is very long and it's very hard to follow, right? So people tend to do stuff separately like this. So we will have more steps to do. It's not done yet. We have more steps to do. For example, we have to be decided, we have to generate a token. Right? We don't just return the user object, we have to generate a token as well. And then we need to attach that token into our response. Right? We are not done yet.
You try and log it in again.
All right. Send again. Yeah. Is it okay? It's coming called schema, right? It doesn't come from the function. Yeah, it belongs. The function belongs to schema. Yes. A equal new schema. Yeah, it's gonna be a statics and some function. Right. Are we there yet? Notice we are done with the register, so I'm gonna close that. Close this as well. All right. Cool. One more step to do. We also need a token. We have to generate a token. So the step is going to be like this: token equal to user. Now we need to use the method generate token. It's different, right? It's different. So here we call the function login with email on the class, but here we call it on the instance. That's a different. And here, if we want to call it upon the instance, we don't need to pass any arguments. We don't have to, because it's all inside user already, inside this already. We don't need to pass anything. Save it here. Just save it here. Then go to our model, user model. Define a method schema dot methods dot generate token. Okay. Await async function. If you want to use this, don't use arrow function. If you want to use this inside, don't use arrow function. If you use arrow function, you will not have this.
What do you mean?
Right. So you may ask, like, can you use arrow function like this? No, you can't. You cannot. If you use arrow function here, this will become undefined, or it will refer to something else that you don't expect. Okay. Yeah, correct. That's a big difference between the normal function and the arrow function. So you use this to be safe. Always use function here. If you don't have, if you're not sure what you're doing, try to use function here just to be safe. Okay. So here, this will refer to the instance of user. Okay, the instance of user. All right, what do we have to do? So we need to generate a token. In order to do that, we need to use the packet called JSON Web Token. Go to the npm.js.com, JSON Web Token. It's a huge library. Huge library. The last update was 1 year ago. 1 year ago. So there are a couple of functions here that you can use. First, you need to sign something. And then when you want to check, verify it, you have to use something called verify, right? So that's the two things that we're going to use today. First, we need to sign a token or create a token. So let's see how we sign it. There's a couple of ways to use. All right. So here we go. Example, we can create a token like this. We sign it. The first argument is going to be your payload, the body, the data that you want. The second argument is your secret key or private key, whatever you want to call. The third argument is optional. And this is the header, the algorithm that you use in order to encode it. Right. 2 arguments. The third one is optional. You don't have to mention about it. So we only need to the first and the second.
So first one is the data.
Yeah. Second is like a secret key, which is which we define here already in .env. Nice. Yeah. What is this? User. Okay, let's go back and find stuff that I can use. So that I'm gonna use Asian in a way. Do we have it? All right, let's find it. All right, it's just like this. It doesn't use any callback. Let's call. I'm gonna use this one first. We need to import it, and then we call it like that. I'm gonna copy this first. Go to your model, import it. Calls JWT equal to require JSON web token. Okay. I installed it already. It's gonna be your first task today.
Wait, how do we install that? NPM install.
Already. Look at this.
Can you please support use in Discord?
Yeah, it's here.
No, the one that you just copied, the JWT token.
No, don't worry. I will modify that code and I will send you. I need to modify that code, please. Okay. So we already installed it earlier, right? So let's use it. Where am I? Here we go. So it's going to be cons token equal to this. I paste inside. We need to cite the data. I will use ID this dot ID. Remember, this refer to the instance. So this is going to be something like this. Name, qua, email, at codeschool.vn, something like that, right? Also, I also have ID as well. I forgot. ID something. All right. So now I want my payload, my data is going to be only contain ID only for now. I only want to contain ID, and usually it's contain ID and something else. I don't remember, but for now, just worry about the ID. And then the secret here, instead of hard coding it, I'm going to call from my environment process.env.secret, right? And expire in, it's like, it's how long the token expire. It can be 7 days. It's very simple. You can type like this, it works. Or you can use a number which is in minute, I think. Yeah, it's gonna be minutes. I'm not sure, but you need to read the docs. Or you can use something that readable for human, 7 days. And then we got a token. Then we return the token. We also need to save the token into our database, into our token arrays here, right? We have an array tokens of strings. So we need to do something like this. This dot tokens dot push, and we push a new token into our array. This is user, right? This is user. User dot tokens means user dot token means these tokens, all right? And then for adding a new element inside array, we can use push. Right, this token dot push, and we push the token into the array, and then save it. This dot tokens, this dot save. So now we use save, and then return the token. To use save, we can await here, and then return tokens.
Why do we need to use await?
To execute it.
Do we need to have it?
Yeah, you should have it. Yeah, this to save information, but if you don't have a wait, it will not execute.
We need to return token again.
So that we can attack it to the response, right? So let's assume that everything works, and
So
I'm
we
going
return token at the end to attach it to what?
to respond here. Where am I? Where is it? Here, right? We need to attack the token into our response, so that in the next subsequent request, the client can use that token to communicate with our server. So data, and I also have. So data is going to be an object. We have user and we have token. Okay. It's going to be like this: user, and token. Let's try and see what happened here. I'm going to log in again. Using Postman. Try again. As you can see here, in data now we have two keys, the user key and the token keys, right? In the user key, we have an array of tokens, which have the token that we just created. And then we push to the array, right? We also have another key called token, as here. These two values are the same, right? Same string. All right? So lastly, I want to remove this field from my document. I don't want this array to be available on front end. I only want this token to be available on the front end. I don't want the front end to see this somehow. So one more step: remove, delete object dot tokens. Right. Again, I'm gonna log in again, and if you look at this string, will become another string. Remember the last characters, CSO, right, John?
Can you wrap text?
Okay. Okay, you have CSO here. I'm gonna log in again. It's gonna become another. So this array will have two elements. First, this array will have. No, you will not see this array anymore. I removed it already. So tokens here will become different. It's not CSO, right? Different, right?
Can I see what we post again?
Same thing. I didn't change anything. So now, if you take a look at the database, you will have an array of two elements here. Okay, let's see it. Right? First element will have CSO. Second element will have something else. Right? Right. We successfully log in the user in and then return the token. Right. Let's take a couple of minute break here. But before that, let's recap everything. Let me see if there's any question. All right.
What can we go to delete that object?
Just where you delete the password, yeah. All right, where are we? Okay, log in with email. Very similar, right? I just add one more function, one more line here. I wrap the token from this method. Cool. This method is defined inside our model. Here. There's a big difference between methods and statics. So in statics, this refers to the class. But in methods, the normal methods, this refer to the instance. That's why I use this dot underscore ID here. Right. Okay. So in this object, in the payload object, I expect to see an object which have the key underscore ID with the value of this with this value, right? And then this token survives 7 days. I set a token to my database by pushing it to the array and then save the whole object. Then I return only the token. Okay.
When using this sample, we can also store the password, right?
Why do you want to store a password here? Yeah. I'm still kind of confused. When do we refer to instance or class? It depends on how you code. Yeah, it's really depend on how you code. You can just not using any methods. You can just create a function, a normal function, and we will have to find the function, find the document, or you can pass this as an argument for that function. It's okay, but here's how people normally do. They use OOP. And if you wonder how OOP works, that's how it works. All right. So here, if you have problem with OOP, I will have another extra class or extra session to explain about OOP. Right? If you want to join, yeah, just vote for it.
I can see when you delete the token.
Tokens. All right.
So when you delete this, you do not actually delete in the database. It's just
Yeah. For everything we delete here, we only delete the object that we respond to the front end.
Yeah.
We don't delete anything in our database. All right, be careful with that. Oh man, that's the most frequent asked question. All right, I will remember that. Okay. Yeah, so in OOP, object will have functions.
But if you call this to JSON, you can delete it on the database, right?
No. This doesn't affect the database at all. This method is called whenever you use JSON here. Okay. That's how Mongo's design. Yeah.
Are we on a break or did we summarize?
Yeah, 5-minute break. Okay. Let's come back at 2:36. You still have a long way to go, guys. Yeah. Oh, that's another object.
But if we want to delete in the database, we can use the same, right?
Yeah. But you will never do something like that in here in JSON. Okay, I need to stop this one. See you guys later. I need to stop this for record. Ủa? All right, stop sharing.